I'm with Capital Construction Solutions. I started the company about 16 months ago. We're the 1871, the tech incubator downtown Merchandise Mart. You guys might have met Mark earlier, Chris, Sam's up in the back. Yeah, this thing works.
The mic fell, actually.
So we had our team back there, but you guys probably met most of them, so we'll go straight to the board. We have a lot of different people on the board, anyone from Nokia, DSR, you guys might know Ben Reyes downtown, put it around my head. Ben Reyes downtown, Primera, Deloitte, a lot of different people. These are our partners. We are functional construction people. Again, we have our 300 years of construction experience within our board. Even within our company ourselves, we have over 70 years. But these are really our partners, anywhere from cloud-based, very similar to what you guys have there. Google, Amazon, Jira, anything like that. High charts for all of our business intelligence. But we are developing knowledge sharing platforms, okay? Sounds like MBA speak, so bear with me. There are 30 friction points in construction. Safety, closeout, the way you start a project up, permitting. Okay, it's purposely blurred there, so no one's taking pictures. We're doing one every 2 months. We're breaking down the way you look at construction, and we're building it back up the way it should be done. Okay, the first one's safety, safety first. Okay, this is how safety is done. Now safety, people think OSHA, right? Stay in compliance. We really care about everything, right? Where's the knowledge coming from? How are we getting better? Contractors have really good ideas. International companies in Toronto are working with good ideas, right? Government agencies, safety consultants. We're grabbing all their best practices and we're putting it into one application focusing just on safety, okay? How do we do that? We meet with, by the way, trade unions, very, very important. We meet with all 30 trade unions to make sure they know what we're doing, because the apprenticeship coordinators have really good ideas, okay? They give it to us and we put it in a way you can use. What are the problems with construction right now and safety? Right, lost documents is a big one. Can't find them, wasn't done, poor legibility, right? No knowledge transfer, no lessons learned, right? You did 30-hour training 5 years ago. Who remembers that now? I don't. But these guys remind me every day exactly what I need to know by category, okay? 64% of all contractors have 5 or fewer employees. Lots of really small contractors doing lots of work. Really fragmented industry, right? 4 employees, the average architecture firm. Okay, you do a build out one day in your 7-Eleven, the next day you're building a church. By the time you get back around to it, you've forgotten all the things you made a mistake on in the first place. Let's find a way to capture that knowledge transfer and build on it with everyone in the industry together. Okay, 57% of all construction managers are self-employed. Do you guys know these stats, by the way? It kind of blows you away. This is the most important stat I'm going to show you. Okay? It takes more man hours now to put a cubic yard of concrete in than it did in 1964. Okay? Lots of errors in construction. Okay? So when we had our beta product for safety, we went out there and we do what's called an MVP, minimal viable product. We submitted it to the American Society of Safety Engineers, figured, you know, why not? And they actually gave us the Innovation Award for 2015. So we knew we were on to something. And this is our beta product. Okay? This is the way we typically look at safety. And again, we're focusing on the small guys. We have lots of big organizations, big utilities, big companies come to us and say, I need what you guys are doing, because I have facility management departments doing safety. All these silos in my company are doing safety. Now they're using ours to integrate that information, grab best practices from all their competitors and all different associations they belong to, all the white papers. They're doing lessons learned now within their company, make themselves better, and they're doing lots of performance metrics. Okay? So we meet with insurance companies. Why? Because insurance companies tell you what drives claims, right? Safety, claims, accidents, it's all together. They tell us these are the 10 ways to decrease accidents. So we're going to walk through them really quickly, and you'll see our app does all these 10 things. Okay? When you think about the corporate culture, what they're trying to say is that everybody from the executives all the way down to this big thing down here, is 8% of all of our work, subcontractors need to be involved in safety. Typically, it's not even on here. A safety director is involved in safety. He's the guy walking around the site, taking observations, saying the report to the project manager, and coming back in 7 days. That's not a safety plan. Safety plan says everybody's involved. Okay, and we'll show you how we do that. Okay, management participation. We have a very easy way, very clean interface. I could have had this thing, lots of bells and whistles on it. It's got to be dumbed down. People in construction, it's got to be easy. Big buttons, simple to learn. This is what supervisors do as they walk through. They take pictures, tap and talk, okay? Right? You have to do risk hazard analysis as you're on the site. So you have to identify your risks. This is what it looks from an overview for carpentry, for example, based on best practice. Not just OSHA. There is some OSHA in there, but it's not just OSHA, okay? You look at editing it, so you make sure you identify your risks. Once you identify them, you assess your risk. You do your tap and talk like you were talking about earlier, but also taking pictures of it. Take lots of pictures, hundreds of pictures, thousands of pictures. Each one of these issues you see, track it with your signatures on it. Have someone sign it, okay? And set severity levels, importantly, so you can prioritize all your tasks every day. And then you got to develop solutions to eliminate it, right? We talked about lessons learned. As you're sitting in the field, imagine a 24/7 suggestion box where guys are saying, I just learned something at CHA that I didn't know that I should be doing over CTA. Let's track that. Now all of a sudden the guys writing this in there, and in the off season, November, December, January, they're saying, you know what? I have a really good idea to change my company. I'm going to make a new process. I'm going to do more training. I've got ideas on how we can do some contract issues. And they're building on this. So as we build out our apps, 30 of these apps, you're going to have this massive lessons learned to make your companies better, okay? And then obviously you have these open issues. So as you have the open issues, you must close your safety issues, right? You can't surround with a bunch of safety issues sitting out there. So we give you a way to quickly prioritize them. And then communicate them. Send emails off. There's a great little back-end system we can't have time to get into. But we have also all these reports they can send out, nice pictures of the issues as you're going through it. Very easy to categorize them. Again, we're talking about insurance companies. These are what drive safety. Quality assurance. Give you a way to predict when an accident's going to happen. Okay? Purely based by the number of observations, by the positive observations you see, as you start to see it's creeping down, you see, I need to get safety consultants involved. So now, all of a sudden, you're not spending $100,000 on a safety consultant. Any safety consultants here? Whew. You're not spending $100,000 on them, but you're spending $1,000. Very targeted, because you know you need them. It's now. It's going to be later on. You do it by project-based. Start to predict when you really need them and use your money more efficiently. Safety management. So we have a whole back-end. I guess I do have some back-end pictures. So we now have a way to make sure that you can see your corporate safety plans, your client safety plans, all your certifications within your company, 30-hour, 20, a 30-hour, 10-hour confined space, all in one place. Prioritize them, know when your expiration dates are, and give these things available to people on their phone in real time. Okay, so we're on the site, they can actually go in and use the documentation instead of having it sitting on a shelf. Okay, education and training. Now, sorry, there isn't a couple more stats. Do you guys know this one? 60% of the injuries happen in the first year of employment, right? So how much time do you really spend training people, especially now? It's going like crazy. Hire someone, get them out in the field quickly. No, spend 3 days and train them. No one ever does that. Give them a way as they're sitting on site with their observations, with their training. They're saying, I'm about to do carpentry tomorrow. Let's go through these safety questions before we even get to that, right? So you can have your people training in real time, okay? And then you want to do planning, right? It's not just saying, while concrete's going on, what do I do? It's before I do concrete, how do I pre-task that plan to think about how I can prevent the accident, okay? So these are pre-task plan questions. Sit with your crew, walk through them together. And again, that's not the real screen. It actually goes to a different screen, but that's an oversight screen. Just kind of quickly show you that. I'm giving you oversight. Once you click into it, it goes in a different screen. And then even while you're planning, it shows no matter where you are. Find the nearest hospitals. Okay, you can look at it by the map view, which is nice to see, or do it by the clinic list. Now, if you're having your arm cut off, call 911, right? But if you're pre-task planning, sit around with them and say, okay, here's all our hospitals. Something happens today. Where are we going to go? Well, we can go to this one. No, that one's shut down, guys. And you kind of walk through with your team. That's the way you engage your crews on safety, okay? Fleet safety. We put this in there because, you know, again, we have lots of people that are using the app different ways. They want to be able to say vehicle driver inspection report. Now we have excavating contractors that are doing it to do work orders. There's all sorts of things you can do. By the way, these forms we create on the back end. We make it everyone available that has the app. Accident reports, utility hits, incident reports, you name it, the reports, forms, but become reports. Now you can start tracking when you have hydraulic fluid leakings, you have, you know, some broken lights, you have your teeth that need to be fixed, things like that. And then progressive safety discipline, right? It's one thing actually saying that some guy was wearing a hard hat, especially when you work with, you know, union contractors. Make sure that you have a way to document that. These guys should be signing on that they saw I wasn't wearing a hard hat. I wasn't doing something incorrect. Make sure it's not being done again, okay? And more importantly, give them the carrot, right? So we have a way now, as you're going on the website, you can look at all the employees in your company by date range and say, how many observations have they done? right? How many issues they find, how long it take to close the issues. Why? Because most people have employees of the quarter, okay? Let's have like an objective way to determine who that should be. These are the ways we determine that these guys are doing the observations, that are finding the issues, that are closing the issues. Now we have a great way to determine how to determine those people, okay? I'm almost done. And obviously there's customization. So we have logos. I think someone else brought this up before. All your logos. You won't even see us anywhere once you buy the system. You want to be on the app. All the reports, your logos, your information. Assign your own categories, okay? So you say you have 35 different projects. Only show the categories that you want to look at safety-wise on that project. You're only doing carpentry, you're only doing steel erections, whatever. Assign them so it's very specific to the guy in the field. And then turn on and off reports. If you don't need a ComEd safety report on that project, because we might digitize that, for example, you can turn that off. So the guys are very specific to what they're working on that project. It's got to be made for everybody, right? So there's lots of companies out there doing this. I encourage you to check them out. Nobody's focusing on this. It's got to be made for everybody.
With these and countless more tech advancements shaping the way we work and play, we want to hear what you have to say. Leave us a comment in the section below, check out all of our other videos, and be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching.